Hey there everyone, it's your boy, the Champ Dog. Well done on finding me. So, got some more game play coming up for you guys, more Big Red. Just going to be one match today. Video's going to be a little bit shorter. So it's up against Gruul Aggro, which I've been struggling with. So I said in the last video I was going to go into a little more detail about why I've made a little change to the deck. So I think I've mentioned in a previous video that since the season reset at the start of the month, I've been doing really badly with this deck. My win rate dropped from just above 80% to somewhere around 45. I just lost match after match. It was pretty disheartening, so I stepped off it for a while and played a bit of Dimir Control, and I just got back to it over the last couple of days, which for me is the weekend. It's about the 5th and 6th of December, so I've been playing a little bit of this over the weekend, doing a little bit better, clawed my win rate back up to just over 50%. So one thing I've been particularly struggling with is Gruul Aggro, which is the matchup you're going to see in this video. And it seems a little strange to me because Gruul Aggro was a really good matchup for me last season. I did well. I felt very strongly favoured in those matches, but this season I just can't seem to win one of those matches to save myself. They feel a little more aggressive. I've seen things like Rimrock Knight that I haven't seen before. I'm seeing a lot more EMBERCLEAVE, which obviously can be really difficult for a deck like this to get around because a lot of what I do is sorcery speed. And, they do have things like Lovestruck Beast, and even like Kazandu Mammoth, and sometimes the little Brushfire Elemental can get up to 5/5 pretty easily, and it's difficult for my deck to deal with them. Slap an EMBERCLEAVE on that, that's bang 10 damage, and I'm often just sitting there with a 3 damage spell in my hand. So yeah, I've been seeing more EMBERCLEAVE, even seen a little bit more of the Great Henge in these lists, and less Vivian. I think that's one of the reasons I've been struggling a bit more. Vivian's a little easier for me to deal with cards like Storm's Wrath and even the Spirit Dragon. EMBERCLEAVE, because of the way it comes down at a time when it's difficult for me to interact with on a creature that might also be difficult for me to interact with, does a chunk of damage, and then I need to slap down an Ugin to get rid of it. Ugin dies the next turn. If they have another hasty creature, it often leaves me in a bad position. So I'm struggling, but the change that I've made, I just wanted to test it out over the weekend, was just replacing Scorching Dragonfire with Fire Prophecy. I feel like I probably still need to make a couple of other tweaks to make my deck a little more resilient to aggro, because that's basically the problem I'm having. The Gruul decks have become more aggressive, and this deck is not great at dealing with that level of quick aggression. So I've swapped to Fire Prophecy. My reasoning there was, in so many of the games that I'm playing, my big game plan is just to get to Ugin and get him down as quickly as possible. He's sort of my catch-up and release valve, his -X to clear the board can help me come back, because I usually do end up falling a little bit behind. As I've touched on, my removal's kind of limited. I've got 2 things that deal 5 damage, some that deal 3, and other than that I've got Spikefield Hazard and Shadow Skull Smashing and a couple of Storm's Wrath. Red doesn't have the best removal right now. And a lot of it's a little bit clunky and inefficient. 3 mana to kill some things is a pretty bum deal when, black at 3 mana can kill anything. And maybe get a creature out of it as well. Bone Crusher Giant can be a little bit awkward, but yeah, I really rely on Ugin to help me catch up and put me in a commanding position. And then also sometimes Ox of Agonist to draw a bit more cards. So my thought was, okay, I really like the Exile on Scorching Dragonfire, but since so many of my games really just come down to, do I hit Ugin in time or not, I thought I would try Fire Prophecy, because that way I can kill a creature and get rid of a card that I can't use. Helps me just dig that little bit closer to Ugin. And given that my deck is slightly combo-y in nature, obviously the quote-unquote combo is Ironcrag Feet with Ugin, but there's also the Ram through Solemn Simulacrum. But there's a couple of key pieces in my deck, and having them versus not having them can make a big difference. So something like Fire Prophecy is potentially a better pick for the deck. Last month, the Gruul lists were a little slower, a little more mid-rangey, realistically playing 1 card a turn, and my deck is much better equipped to deal with that. Obviously, Ugin just takes a dump on mid-range decks, so I was really well positioned for those. You know, this is why I'm finding monitoring food a little easier now. But yeah, the Gruul lists have sped up, so I need to adapt my list to respond to that. And in the case that I really just need 1 or 2 key cards in order to survive, I think being able to dig that little bit more is more valuable than the Exile and Scorching Dragonfire. I do like the Exile because there's a lot of decks that are playing out of the graveyard. Rogues, for example, but like even a lot of things have ways to get things out of the graveyard. So I did like the Exile, and it can also hit Planeswalkers. But as I've said, just wanted to try this. I thought it might be superior to just have that little bit more filtering, be able to dig a little closer to the cards that I rely on, and it does seem to be working. I've even found use for this against control lists to help me dig. But look, that's what I've changed. I'm still not done tweaking this deck. It needs more work, but I am doing a lot better even just after that one change. So I wanted to go through the thought process, explain the change. I probably belabored it a little bit, but I think it's good to understand the difference between a card like Scorching Dragonfire and Fire Prophecy and why you might want one over the other. Anyway, we're going to jump on into a game. We're up against Gruul Aggro. Spoiler alert, we don't win, but the game actually goes a lot better than a lot of the previous games have. I just didn't quite get there in the third game, which is unfortunate, but it's a lot better than my other recent experiences against Gruul, where I've just been run over again and again and again. But anyway, let's jump on into the game. I've been prattling for a while now, so we'll jump on in and I'll catch you guys again in the outro. Forgot to hit record, but this hand seems okay. It's obviously not great, but I've got some lands. Hopefully we're against a creature deck, so the Storm's Wrath isn't dead. I can, so I'm going to lead on this, just in case I want this held up, because I don't know what I'm against. I can cycle this next turn if I have to. Okay, I don't want to waste a Spikefield Hazard on this token. I don't want to do it. So I'm going to play this one tapped. So if they have an Innkeeper, they might be lulled into thinking I don't have the Hazard anymore. Okay, so this is Gruul, that's fine. Happy to get rid of that. Okay, Tome is nice here. Start scrying. So I do have an untapped land next turn to Storm's Wrath if I have to. But it'll cost me to do it. And of course Storm's Wrath won't kill this Lovestruck Beast, so there's also that. Yep, scry. Okay, that's actually not too bad. I don't mind drawing that. It does mean they can potentially get a henge out, and I need to take 3 damage to play it, which sucks. But it can block the Lovestruck Beast, so it's potentially preventing 5 damage even though I'm taking 3, and it ramps me. So yeah, look, it's not the end of the world. Obviously not a great hand, but not the end of the world. I assume they attack with just the Lovestruck Beast, so that they can't kill the token. Yep, there's the henge. It's alright, I've got an answer for that. Yep. And that'll deal with the Lovestruck Beast quite nicely as well. I forgot to scry there, which sucks because now I've missed a land drop. So they tap it to gain life, make some mana. And I'll kill this now so they can't play another one next turn. And now I really need to remember to start scrying because that was a really stupid mistake and I've got a dead Ugin in my hand. But hitting an Iron Crag Feet would be real nice. Pass turn here because I can't do anything anyway. Scry on instead. Questing Beast, that's fine. Storm's Wrath will kill both of these. Okay, I'll take a land, yep. And I've actually got a draw held up now, which is nice. Obviously my life total's a little bit low and my opponent still has more cards in hand than I do. And this sucks if they've got something to follow up with. Okay, they don't, that's fine. Would have sucked if they had a Fabled Passage there. Kazandu Mammoth, okay, Storm's Wrath will do some work next turn. Hey, and so will Ugin. Do I want to start? I think I Storm's Wrath first, because that'll take a chunk off Ugin if I don't. So I've got Stomp or a card draw held up, and I'd also rather play Ugin when they're lower on resources. Make them keep trying to fight back. Yep. Draw a card, gain some life here. And this, now I can actually Ugin and tick up. Which should leave him high enough to answer a henge now if he has to. It's more likely he gets attacked down a bit. But padding his loyalty is still nice. No, that's game. Excellent. Okay, so my thing here, sideboard plan used to be 2 Rebuke, Storm's Wrath, and Crow and War. I no longer have access to a Crow and War, but I think Shredded Sails is helpful. And then was minus an Ugin, -1 Ox, and -1 Iron Crag Feet, and then either a Simulacrum or a land, depending on if I'm on the play or not. What land do I cut? I guess it's a Crawling Barrens. I like the life gain off the Radiant Fountain. I don't want to cut a red source. So I guess we try like this. Phoenix of Ash might be okay here because they don't really have the stuff with flying to answer it. But I just think it's a little contrary to my game plan. I'm not really trying to be the aggressor here. So this is okay. I've got some removal. I can tuck this Ugin if I need to. Yeah, I think I can keep this. Ooh, leading on a Fabled Passage, not what you want to see. Spikefield Hazard's nice here, so if they hit Brushfire or Edgewell next turn, I can clean it up. I've been doing so badly against Gruul since the season reset, and I don't know why, because it used to be a really easy matchup for me. Obviously, it's easier for the Rakdos lists, because the removal's better. But I used to do still really well even with Big Red. Again, I don't want to spend a whole card on half a card here. Hold up Fire Prophecy here. Although it's likely they just play the Beast. Maze Mind Tome would have been nice there. Under the circumstances, I think I can play one of these as a land. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, that was so silly. I should have played this because I want to have Soul Seer up. Oh, I guess I got to pay for life now. That was a misplay. That could cost me the game as well. Questing Beast, okay. I still think it's correct to Soulseer the Lovestruck Beast. That's 5 damage versus 4 damage. I at least can kill this by double spelling next turn. I think I tuck the Spikefield Hazard. I don't want to get rid of lands, but I mean, obviously I could also tuck the Ugin, but I'm getting to a point in the game where I kind of want to keep him. Get another hazard anyway. Yeah, do take one. Okay, Mammoth. Obviously not what I want to see, but it's not the end of the world. I can't actually kill it this turn. So I think I just play this out as a blocker. And hope for the best, but I land into an Embercleave and I'm basically dead. Okay, they don't have the land. That's something. Could still see Embercleave here though. No, can't. They don't have 2 red. Cool. I'm happy to take that trade any day of the week. I'm very happy with that. Edgewell Innkeeper. And then... So it's unfortunate because they're already drawing a card off this, but I can still tag this, stop them getting any more cards off it. Untap land, okay, so I can... I will take 2 damage doing this, which is unfortunate. And this auto-distributing thing is really whack. Opponent's still only on 1 red mana. I think that could be the only thing keeping us in this game, to be honest. If they have an Embercleave in there. So this could be a 3-3 and this could be a 5-5. I can turn my thing into a 2-2. I think I need to see what they do. If they play a land here, I need to cycle this and find something. Which is unfortunate because they could also still have an Embercleave or a Great Henge, but at least I can tag this Mammoth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't think I pitched the Ugin. Because I may be able to play him next turn if I draw a land. Still dead to an Embercleave now though. There it is. Oh well. Ah, so close. So if I hadn't made that mistake with the Shadow Skull Hammer pass on turn 3, I would have still been in that game. I would have had one more turn. So Crawling Barrens goes back in, Simulacrum comes out. I mean, this seems okay. So go into auto pass, hide the fact that I have this. So I'll see what they do this turn. I don't mind using Bone Crusher Giant on this token. Because I'm only using half a card to get rid of half a card. They kill Innkeeper, that's fine. I've got Spikefield Hazard for that next turn. And I've still got Fire Prophecy held up. Sure. 2 Storm's Wrath, okay. I'm not going to play anything this turn, because if they play a 1-1, I may want to hit it with Fire Prophecy. I just hope we don't see a Questing Beast here. Start scrying. Have missed a land drop, which sucks. Yep, sure. So I'll just draw a card here. Wonder what they're holding up. I mean, it's probably Stomp. Shredded Sails, huh? So I really need to hit a land here. So I'm going to scry. You're not a land, but you do kind of do the same thing. Except you die to Stomp. Okay, it's Scorching Dragonfire. Cool. It's unfortunate, means I don't get to draw the card. But I did get it out of my hand, and that also would have tagged a Bone Crusher Giant. I'm going to take 4 here. It's unfortunate. EMBERCLEAVE, that sucks. So if I hit a land here, I can Storm's Wrath and then Shredded Sails. Oh, down to 10. That was a big hit. Okay, I need an untapped land. You're not an untapped land. You are an untapped land, but not the one I wanted. But, I mean, I gotta do it, don't I? At least I gain a bit of life next turn off the turn. Yep, so I'm gonna wait for them to try to equip the EMBERCLEAVE, and then I'm gonna blow it up. Okay. So actually what I think I do here is get rid of this token, tuck my Ugin because it's a few turns before I can do anything with it. They got a 6/6 but they can't attack with it. Okay, let's see what we draw here. Okay, Fire Prophecy is not really what I want. How much mana do I have? 6. Okay, so I can actually kill this beast. I need to 2-for-1 myself to do it, but at least I can do it. Playing Crag Fate. Why can I not find lands in this game? God. I'm getting so screwed on mana. Sure. Please spend your turn just equipping EMBERCLEAVE. Okay, that went pretty well for us. So I'll scry here, gain a bit of life, try to get something useful to do this turn. If I'd used Dying Crag Feet there, I could have drawn a card, I guess. Okay, so they can attack, that's fine. I just hope they don't have another EMBERCLEAVE, obviously. Okay, no EMBERCLEAVE, thank gosh. Okay, Mammoth, so... I mean, Ugin would be great. Otherwise, Storm's Wrath. No, you're not good enough right now. It buys me a turn. I guess I have to keep that there. So if I see a Fabled Passage, I'm obviously going to Soulseer the Mammoth in response. Okay, no passage. So I'm just going to tag the beast here, prevent the most damage. Taking 4 sucks, but it's where I am. I mean, obviously I'm in a pretty bad spot right now. 5, 6. Don't think that's good enough. So I'm dead to a Fabled Passage or an EMBERCLEAVE. Or a 1/1. An Edgewall Innkeeper or another Heart's Desire. Okay, now we'll do it. Oh, it's a lot closer. It was a lot closer. I've been doing really badly against Gruul this season. I feel like it's gotten a little more aggressive, and I've been seeing a lot more EMBERCLEAVE. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, it was an uphill battle most of that game. I was fighting from behind. Missing early land drops is one of the things that really screwed me. Just put me in a really bad position where I couldn't execute my game plan. but I did feel that match went better than a lot of the other Gruul matches I've seen so far. And like really the only thing I've changed is Fire Prophecy. So I do think that's a positive change. I think I still need to do a bit of work to help with this matchup. But yeah, I do think that's a positive change that I've made so far. Alright, we're back. So as I said, unfortunately we didn't get the win, but I did feel a little bit better about that game than other Gruul matchups I've played this season, which I don't have recordings of. I've just been playing a bit for myself for fun and not wanting to talk through things after work. But yes, suffice to say I've lost them all. I lost I think 5 games in a row against Gruul. Just got run over, I was not even in the games at all. So I did do a lot better in this game. You can see that I still need to make changes, as I said in the intro, but you can also see that Fire Prophecy is helpful. And I really just over this weekend wanted to test how much of a difference that one card would make, and it seems pretty significant so far, so I'm happy with that change. I'm going to update it in my paper list as well. Funny story for anyone who's still stuck around. I actually went into my game store for Friday Night Magic 2 days ago, hoping to play Standard. But not enough people turned up, so the standard event didn't run, so I had to play with the Pioneer guys running this list. But I did actually manage to win a game against a green mid-range list, which felt real good. I got terribly run over by a red aggro list in the first game, but that's to be expected. And then the third game was against a really fun Mardu Gearhulk Reanimator list with a lot of things like Tormenting Voice, Cathartic Reunion, and then that white card that lets you get an artifact out of your graveyard, and Godpharaoh's Gift. It took us 35 minutes to... Actually longer, but it was a 40-minute round, and we almost ended up on time for game 1. It took us 30 minutes for either of us to get below 20 health. I ended up on 30 something. My opponent was on 25, 30 minutes into game 1. I did end up losing, but it's obviously a very close game. There's probably a couple of mistakes I made. I could have been a little more aggressive, but it was fun. It was fun. I did a lot better considering it was Pioneer. Did a lot better than I was expecting running a janky standard list. Obviously not against top meta decks in Pioneer, but it was a fun night regardless. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to have some more videos with this list up soon. Catch you in the next one. Stay brilliant. Be kind to each other.